Welcome, everyone. This is Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read, and it led into a very interesting story today, so definitely stay tuned. Just doing a little clearing here first. You can let me know if you feel it in your body. Take a deep breath. Okay, so it is January 13th, 2020. I did this read this morning, but I spent the day with actually I spent a lot of time doing this because I kept getting more and more stuff coming through, so it was very cool what came through. January 13, the 13 is the death card, transition, transformation, and the day adds up to 18, which is a 9, which is the moon. So we have death and the moon today, so some very, deep undercurrents there with, big transformation and the subconscious of the feminine, the shadow energies, the moodiness. So you may have felt off today just because of those two energies coming up together today. And 13 is a 4, which is very much of the earth, right? It's lower levels of manifestation, survival, stability, structure. And then the 18 is a 9, which has to do with endings and selflessness, compassion. So we have those two energies together, and both of them are ending energies, the 9 and the 13. And the SIRIAN Starseed deck, which is the main deck for the read, the big cards, was cut and dealt at 8:43 to 44 this morning. 43 is the 3 of Cups, and 44 is the 4 of Cups, the mastering, grounding, and integrating. And of course, the 8 is the Strength card. The read was done at 9:01 to 9:02 this morning, and that's the Magician and the High Priestess, along with the 9 of the Hermit. And the major arcana that came up here were Starseed, the Hanging Man. Starseed is like the Fool, and Hanging Man is the Hangman. Abundance is the Empress, and then we had Guidance, which is like the Hierophant. Before the read, Solar Deity came up, which is like the Sun. And then after the read, Chariot and Luna, which is the Moon. We had 4 swords, 2 cups, and 1 wand, so very much heavy on the swords side for the masculine today. So too much in their head, too much logical, or maybe intellectual processing today. But 2 cups and 1 wand, there were no pentacles, so it wasn't about specifically money or work-related things today, or practical day-to-day things. It was more about being in their head or intellectualizing. Could be writing as well. And then the 2 cups, so there were emotions at play today with the 1 wand, so not a lot of action either. So we have 2 court cards, the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords, which can be children or they can be messages. But that was it for the court cards. And then as far as the numbers and my code line message, it was all about completion and synchronicities for the Divine Masculine. We had double 4s, so 44. The code line was 4-2, which equals 6. 4, 2, and 6 is the Lovers. So the Emperor, the High Priestess, and the Lovers. And this message led to a very, very cool place today. So please stay tuned. It is like hours of work today, just getting this message coming through, let alone the read. So the challenge in the read today is the Knight of Swords, which was actually reversed in the read. And as far as the code line and the completion and synchronicities for the masculine, we were getting, well, first the numbers. Besides the ones I told you, we had 421, 24, which is the Queen of Wands, 47, which is the 7 of Cups, 79, which is the Pot of Gold at the end of the rainbow for me, 48 is the 8 of Cups, and then 88. And I was behind license plate 88 last night, coming home from my sisters or going there. And of course, 88 is the 2 twins, the masculine and feminine side by side, dancing with in their own masculine and feminine. And then we had the 46, which is the 6 of Cups, the 67, which is the Knight of Pentacles, the 78 of the 10 of Pentacles, and 89 also came up. So the code line regarding completion and synchronicities and the Adept of Orbs, or Knight of Swords, was the bridge of the Divine Feminine, Fool, crazy, or drunk, and the Knight of Swords, the Emperor of Christ. It was like the masculine thinking the feminine, is a fool or crazy or drunk, whatever the masculine thinks, because, you know, she toggles up and she's able to connect to the etheric realms. And it was about bridging the differences between the feminine in that sense and the Knight of Swords coming in with the truth, can be the Knight in Shining Armor as well. But both of them seeing their cups as half full, not half empty, but half full, but they shouldn't even see their cups as half full because they're each a whole cup and coming together. So FOI was coming up, which is freedom of information. Fields of Israel came up, or Friends of Israel. The Fruit of Islam, which is paramilitary organization. Florida Orthopedic Institute came up, as well as field operations, intelligence, and fiber optical interference and illuminator. FOI is also full of it, found on the internet, field of interest, and fidelity of implementation. And in French, it literally means, which was the most important thing here, it means faith. So, the bridging of the divine feminine, or the crazy fool, the person who's full of it or seems to be drunk, right? Or bridging the field of interest. But mostly it was about faith. The after-death test of thoughts and words, right? Logic, intellectualizing, as the temperature rises in the hour of Christ, and taking too long, perhaps. Also aiding or physical therapy was coming up. And the Four of Cups of grounding and integrating and mastering an offer of love. And in doing that, making sure that 2 cups feel full, not half empty or half full. So also the Elohim and the chakra system, right? So your energetic body is your Elohim, your chakra system of God. Elohim is another word for God. And the divine feminine, the Sophia and the Eve, in their faith, having faith, as opposed to logic of the masculine. And then the Knight in Shining Armor, or the Messenger of Truth. The Emperor of Christ is like the masculine playing God, right? The person that gets to control everything. Playing God and grounding and integrating an offer of love that actually comes from God. But this offer is to you as the feminine. The Emperor of the Sea also came up, and the High Priestess with their cup half full, and the Knight in Shining Armor and the Emperor of the Sea, to have and to hold, was coming up. Also that the Emperor, there could be some divine masculines who opened another office of their business, or have a university office, or are now working at the university. And then I was getting 4 cups, but 2 holders. So 4 cups has to do with the union energies, the 1111, but 2 holders, right, as the twins, holding the 4. And then those were all the numbers involved on the code line, the 4 and 2 that equaled the 6, which is the lovers. Some things that were just coming up online were Breath of the Wild, Excellence in Government Fellows Program. And it was interesting what it said in that heading. A new session structure, longer. So talking about, think about this in terms of the twins. New session structure, longer in-person sessions. Previously, the EIG, which for me is the bridge, but previously the EIG would meet for 3 to 4 day sessions over 11 months. Starting this fall, each of 6 sessions will last a half or full day longer than in the past, because there's additional content and more in-person executive coaching, as well as extra time between sessions to practice implementing the lessons learned. Okay. Another heading that came up was functional characterization of a VEGF-A targeting. It was an article, and the numbers that were coming up there were interesting to me. It was listing 2 trials of 21% and 23%, which is the World and then the King of Wands, respectively. And then in control arms, 39% and 35%, which is the Knight of Wands and the Wounded Warrior, which often come up in respect to the masculine and the feminine. A 4-ball match came up, okay, in addition to the 4 cup. And summer 2019, the Swimsuit Sword Master, 7-colored showdown came up. And 7 references the masculine within the feminine, the chariot, and the colors, the multicolors to show your true colors has been coming up too, as opposed to black and white or gray. And then, so then we come down to the code line again. Bridging the divine feminine's faith, the ELO of the Elohim, the electric light human of God, the lightning messenger or catapult, or winged messenger as the Knight of Swords, and the Emperor. With offices. It could also be just the Emperor of Christ energy reaching out to the divine feminine here to help fill her cup. But then the Emperor of the Sea was coming up. And so when you first look up Emperor of the Sea, and Empower of the Sea came up, the Emperor of the Sea was actually a series, a Korean series of 50-episode drama, and 50 is the 10 of Cups. The life of Jang Bo-go there were 2 different dates mentioned depending on which heading it was. One said it was from 57 BC, and the other one said it was from 676 after death to 935. But it was definitely a Korean, the Shilla dynasty. And it came up because it was an East Asian Sea domination of the Koreans, that dynasty. And the episode 44 also came up, which is that number that we always talk about because it's the mastering, grounding, and integrating of love. Also, the Emperor of the Sea is coming up as tsunamis and rogue waves. And then the Roman Emperor Caligula came up in regards to Poseidon, who was what I was thinking of when the Emperor of the Sea came up, or Neptune. And this is from unrealfacts.com, because there was a story about how Caligula had a war with Poseidon and then ordered his troops to send, to throw spears at the sea, to defeat Neptune. While crazy Roman emperors appear not to be that rare, Caligula has gone down along with Nero as one of the most nutty of them, as if he had lost his brain. So here's, again, that fool energy. And they said that he had collected seashells as proof that he conquered Poseidon, which is really silly, right? Now, the drunk fool can be referenced to in the code line as the masculine or the feminine, but as the tool to bridge from one to the other. So either which way you look at it, the masculine may be okay now with acting a fool, whereas before maybe he wasn't. So then Poseidon came up, and this is where they were leading me into a story, which was a very beautiful story, actually. And most of this stuff is from Greek godsandgoddesses.net. So Poseidon is god of the sea, of earthquakes, storms, and of horses. Bad-tempered, moody, and greedy, the Olympian god was also vengeful when insulted. Poseidon is the son of Kronos and Rhea, and swallowed by father along with Hades, Demeter, Hestia, and Hera. Some believe his mother concealed him away among a flock of lambs so that his father wouldn't eat him, and pretended to have given birth to a colt, which was then devoured by Kronos instead. So after the gods defeated the Titans, the world was divided into 3. So the 3 left were the sons of Kronos, and they had to draw straws on who would take what part of the world. So Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon drew straws, and Zeus got the skies, Hades the underworld, and then Poseidon got the seas. And it was interesting, when I wrote down Poseidon and the seas, I get dizzy writing it down. So there's definitely some rocky seas ahead. Worshipped as the fertility god, Poseidon literally means in Greek husband. He wielded the trident sword, spear, which was that three-pronged spear, and was called the Earth Shaker. Just by, planting down his spear into the ground, he could cause an earthquake. His palace of gems and coral on the ocean floor, but actually spent more time at Mount Olympus than his palace. Like Zeus, right? So they're all brothers, right? Like Zeus, he exerted power over women and flaunted his masculinity, okay? So this is the archetype of the polarized masculine, right? So his primary transport was the chariot pulled by horses. So this is very much along the lines of the divine masculine. Poseidon was the husband to Amphitrite or Amphitrite. Their union, and you notice when you break it down, it's un-ion, which means ion is connection. So un-ion means undoing the connection because the union is a closed circuit. So the union between Poseidon and his partner produced Triton, who was half human and half fish. He and Medusa, so they had their partner, but then they slept around, so he had children by lots of other women, and he and Medusa conceived the flying horse Pegasus, and also father of Poseidon was also father of Orion and Atlas, amongst others, okay? His sister was Demeter and refused his advances by turning into a mare, so then he changed into a stallion and still pursued her. And they ended up with a child horse, or a baby horse, Orion, or a colt. Another energy that he came up with against was, and this is Poseidon. So Uranus was the father of all fathers. Uranus is Kronos' father. So Kronos castrated Uranus, and then Jupiter or Neptune did the same thing to his father, which is Saturn or Kronos. So Zeus was Jupiter. What did I say? I don't know if I probably didn't say the right thing. So Zeus is Jupiter, Saturn is Kronos, Uranus is the father of Kronos. But now we're down to the children of Kronos, one of which is Zeus, but another one is Poseidon. So they're brothers, along with Hades, right? Amongst others, right? So then Poseidon's children, among them were Orion and Atlas, which was very significant. And aside from his sister that he dealt with, also he and Athena competed for possession of the city of Athens, and obviously Athena won because it's called the city of Athens. Poseidon had made it spring at the Acropolis to compete with her, but Athena gave them the olive tree and won the contest. So notice here, he competed with Athena, a female, but he didn't see her as a female. He saw her as a male because he didn't respect women, but he wasn't pursuing here. He was competing against her, so he had to treat her like she were another man. And this energy is important in this story. So Poseidon, all right, gave the spring, and then she gave the olive tree, and you notice the olive tree and the olive branch. So Uranus is also Uranus, Ouranus. And I was also getting pain in my ass. And then Uranus's partner was Gaea, which is just probably Gaia. It's probably the same thing as Gaia. And had Saturn Kronos. So Saturn Kronos castrated Uranus. And then, like I said, Jupiter castrated Saturn. Or Zeus castrated Kronos. So, and it was very interesting because the times that came up here when I was talking about that stuff was 10, 23, 24, and 25, which is the King and Queen of Wands, and then the Knight of Wands. So the 23 and 24 are the King and Queen of Wands when he and Athena were competing against each other. And then the contest of the 25, which is very much that energy of the Knight of Wands. But Athena was his equal here, as opposed to other women who were never the masculine's equal. So then we have Zeus, right? Zeus is Jupiter. And the statues of Zeus you see holding the lightning. And Zeus, they were giving me this message of paralleling all these different energies, like which lines they're in. So we have, and you know me, I always talk about Michael and Metatron, that Michael is lightning and Metatron is thunder, because that's the messages I've been given by them. Today they were paralleling those energies of Michael and Metatron to Zeus and Poseidon. So Zeus, the statue, holds the lightning, so it was referring to the air energy of, and also Thoth was coming through along this line, or Michael's side of the energies, the lightweight champion. Neptune has the bad temper and is moody and loud like the sea, is also related to the fish, which is the Jesus energy, and he's the heavyweight champion. So Metatron is equaling Neptune and Poseidon, whereas Michael is equaling Zeus and Jupiter. So Zeus had Hercules and a child Athena. I don't know if his Athena was the same Athena that his brother competed against, but Zeus also had twins, Apollo and Artemis. But it was interesting because the twins, she was a goddess, but she was the hunter, whereas Apollo was the music and poetry lover, but also medicine. So here we have that first sign of rebalancing the masculine and feminine, where they were very polarized here, right? The masculine was extra masculine and the feminine was extra feminine. But here, these twins came out liking things of the opposite gender, right? The masculine liked the feminine things and the feminine liked the masculine things of the hunter. And then Hades, don't forget about Hades. We have Zeus and Poseidon and Hades. It's like, the lightweight and the heavyweight, Michael and Metatron, but then Hades is like the third energy, the third world and Trinity. And I was getting, it just depends on the perspective. Like one of those is being on earth, one is the underworld, and one is the etheric realms of Trinity. The third world or the third energy or the Trinity just depends on your perspective, what dimension you're in. So stay with me. I know it's a little bit confusing right now, but it's just about the lineage of the gods and goddesses in this energy and how it relates to Michael and Metatron and Thoth and Jesus, because I get them a lot in my structure, right? That Michael and now we're relating Michael and Thoth in the Michael lineage, and Jesus and Metatron in the, what did I say? In the Poseidon lineage of things. Like they're all connected energies. And you notice too, this is all about brotherhood. And we're talking about brothers. All right? So now we have Zeus. So Zeus with his kids, and then going back to Poseidon and his kids, Orion and Atlas. Very significant. Everyone talks about Zeus, but it's actually Poseidon that's the powerhouse, because he is the ocean, the deep ocean, who has mastered his seas, his emotions, whereas Zeus is very much the logical, the masculine energy. So the two children, Orion, so this is very significant, because all of the ETs are in the Orion constellation, and then Atlas. So what is the significance of Orion and Atlas here? Well, when I asked who is this message I'm getting from, I was told this was a message from Orion on behalf of his brother Atlas. So follow me still. And Orion literally means hunter, right? So Orion's in the masculine energy. The brightest stars in Orion, or brightest pupils is what I was getting, are the blue-white, is it Rigel or Regal? And then Betelgeuse is the red one. So there's a blue-white is the Regal, or the Rigel, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. It's also Beta Orionis, and then the red Betelgeuse is Alpha Orionis. Atlas had mostly daughters, including Pleiades. Did you know that? So Pleiades belonged to Atlas, and Calypso as well. The stories are that Atlas was forced by Zeus, who would be his uncle, to bear the weight of the sky, or Zeus, upon his shoulders. Or in other words, Atlas needed to come out of his father's shadow, out of Poseidon's seas, his emotions. So literally, Atlas had to walk out of the sea, right, because his father's Poseidon. He had to come out of the seas and walk the land in order to come out of his father's shadow and be his own man, right? So then literally gravity-wise, he'd be much heavier. And that's why it became the weight of the world upon his shoulders. The skies were light when he was part of the sea, but once he had to come up onto the land to become his own man apart from his father Poseidon, then he was carrying the skies, or Zeus became very heavy, because then all of a sudden gravity was at play. And Atlas means enduring. So you have Orion's belt. Orion's belt, he's the disciplinarian, right? He's the logical one. Atlas has to do with strength and endurance, long-lasting or everlasting lover. And then Orion splits up as Or and Ion. Or Ion, which is connection, which relates to indecisiveness, and an iron fist. So he's frustrated all the time because he's indecisive. And vice versa. It's kind of a catch-22 because he's got too many connections. He's Or Ion. So he's got connections, whereas union is union, no connections, because you stay in that closed unit. Orion is Or Ion. So connection or connection or connection or connection, right? How can you choose? It's like the Seven of Cups. It makes you very confused because there's too many choices. So Orion gets frustrated and he becomes the iron fist. Whereas Atlas is the lover, not the fighter. Orion's the fighter, Atlas is the lover. He's the strength, the endurance, the long-lasting, everlasting, ever-ready lover. And then as Atlas is broken down, which this came up before a year or two ago, Atlas. At last, my love has come along. Okay, so that song was coming up. And again, referencing Atlas as the lover, right? So he's the shyer one, the lover, whereas Orion is the heavy hand, the iron fist, the fighter, the brothers, right? It's like the older brother and the younger brother. Orion was coming to me with this message of this story, speaking up on behalf of his brother, because he is the outspoken one, whereas Atlas is the shy lover. And when Orion came through with this right at this moment here, it was 11:26, and I literally started tearing up because the energy was so high. And 11:26 is justice and that page of wands, which is, that brother that's inspired to truth and balance. So then I came back to the coding. The bridging of the divine feminine, or the fool, right? The one who seems to be crazy or folly, right? Or drunk perhaps. And the Knight of Orbs, or the Knight of Swords. And the Four of Christ, and the two filling their cup, regarding completion and synchronicities for the divine masculine today. The bridging of the divine feminine's faith, and the Knight of Swords. The Knight is the sword, is the air energy of Michael, Zeus, Jupiter, and Thoth. Whereas Metatron's bark is worse than his bite because he's hangry. He's hungry. It's more of that moody, the moody one who stays home and likes to eat, whereas the King of Swords is out there with his sword, ready to strike lightning and hit someone, right? So the brother on behalf of Metatron lineage, which is Jesus and Neptune, to the divine feminine. So it's like the masculine's brother coming forward on behalf of him to speak on his behalf to the divine feminine. Orion got Poseidon's temper, and Atlas his deep, enduring love. Orion reaches out to strike with lightning, like Michael, and on the other hand, Atlas screams at home or out to the sky, but not, or to his brother even, but not to anyone else. He holds his tongue. So he holds the inner strength, Atlas, whereas Orion holds the outer strength, or the lightning strike, like Michael, whereas Metatron is the sound, the rumbling sound, but he does not strike. He holds it in, and he controls his temper. Okay, so this was very important here. So I began the read, but then they sent me back again for more information about this stuff, because more stuff was coming up they wanted me to look at online. So Orion, there's in the sky, there's an Orion-Taurus conflict. And so this parallels to the lion and the bull, the Hercules lion and the Cretan bull. And then reference, there's lots of comparisons of Hercules and Atlas. But Hercules was half human, Atlas was not. So there really wasn't a comparison there. They were cousins, right? So the Orion-Taurus conflict. Orion got drunk and walked on waves. He attacked Merope, and so she got pissed, and so in rebellion blinded Orion. And then I came upon this article from neilhague.com, Neil is his first name, and then hague.com. So I definitely go into this article. I can't go into the whole thing, it gets very complicated, but it was very interesting. It was called Sophia, and he's an artist. Sophia, Orion, and the Lion of God, and it's Ariel. And that was from April 3rd, 2019. He's been an artist for 21 years of his spiritual journey, and was calling it, quote unquote, a crazy ride. So look at that article, because it's very cool, the information there. And how all this plays out with the Sophia energy was very interesting. But some of the information that was coming back up to sum up the story I was just explaining to you was that Poseidon versus Athena, remember I told you that Poseidon treated her like another man, he treated her as an equal as opposed to like another woman that he would have abused. That it was his equal. So just that she's a man as opposed to a woman. And then you realize in Philadelphia and Greece, they're very known for the cities of brotherly love. In Athens, she won with the olive tree, which is the olive branch extended. So realize when we're in polarity, like why is it true if opposites attract, then why does like attract like? And I've brought this up before. It's because when you're polarized in the 3D as Buff and Bambi, right, the most extremes of the masculine and the most extreme of the feminine, opposites then attract. So the most buff guy attracts the most Bambi girl. But when you're in unity consciousness or 5D, the masculine and the feminine within are more balanced, so they come to the middle. They're no longer at the polarities, because now they have the masculine has a lot of feminine in him, and the feminine has a lot of masculine in her. So now they're closer to the middle, and therefore like attracts like, because now you're looking for someone who's just like you because you're well balanced. Whereas before, when you're polarized, you're looking for your opposite, because that's how the universe balances the masculine and feminine. Okay, so when you're balancing your masculine and feminine, you become more androgynous. And again, this references back to the Philadelphia brotherly love and the Greece brotherly love, okay, of man to man. So in starting, so what I really loved about this story is the love story between brothers of Orion and Atlas. and how those two energies are so significant in our journey. And also speaking up for the brother who's too shy to speak for themselves, and that's why it's hard for them to open their mouth. So getting into this read, I know it's taking long, but I was trying to get my point across. It's been a long day. Okay. So we have the Page of Swords and the underlying energy here, the Seeker of Orbs. Below that is the Six of Swords, the Sun upright, and the Eight of Cups reversed. And the Six of Swords was coming up like Poseidon, finding peace. And this was at 1136, which is justice and the 36 of the Ten of Wands, carrying the weight of the world upon your shoulders. Immaturity of verbal expression, being shy, I spy, negative or no message, after finding peace and exposing all, in full power, sunshine and or on vacation, in uncomfortable energy. The Ace of Swords reversed is a split, lies or cutting through the BS, a divide, and the Divine Masculine Magician pulls Excalibur from the stone, the final straw, the initial wound to the Divine Feminine's heart, and voila, by golly, I've got it. The DNA strand. The masculine pulls the DNA strand, the sword, the Excalibur out of the stone, which is the feminine, who froze when the first wound happened between them when he left her. The thorn in the lion's paw. And per Augustine, referencing Lionsgate 8:8, the lion is Christ resurrected, and the lamb for his sacrifice, that he endured, or Atlas endured, the death as the lamb, and he devoured the land as the lion. And that was from Sermon 375a. And the time here was 1144. So again, here we have conquer of the lands, slaughter of the sea, because it was the shepherd who takes the thorn out of the lion's paw. And the shepherd is, right? The shepherd takes care of the sheep. Conquer of the lands, slaughter of the sea. Or in other words, the explosion and implosion simultaneously, or simulcast I was getting. The lion was Splinter. And why would a lion get a splinter? Unless there were humans involved, right? He wouldn't have come across something where he would have gotten a splinter in his paw. That's a human construct. The lamb who came out of the water as Atlas in order to love. Okay, so at 110, which is the Magician and the Wheel of Fortune, the turn for the better, it starts with two minds, being of two minds, as the Two of Swords upright, two different women with two different perspectives. But the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles were both reversed here, finding peace and separation. So when you don't agree, you go to your separate rooms. The Ace of Pentacles reversed, and the Fool upright, and the Six of Cups upright. Not ready to start a new life, but free to leap into happier energies, or happier memories, or times, or in other words, Chronos, because Chronos is time. Sophia and made manifest, and you notice manifest is man, I fest, okay, so a feasting man, or a partying man. Sophia and made manifest in her likeness, and this came up from that article I told you to read, a sisterhood was coming up, just like the brothers, the brother standing up for his brother, the shyer one. And here is the sisterhood. Sophia in that article made manifest someone in her likeness that could take care of all these things that she dreamed up, like the earth, right? Finding peace in delaying a new start, holding back the gold coin, the Kohan, to be free to explore and hang out with children, or the Divine Masculine, time away from the children, or time away from females in general. Rolling down the river came up in swaddles, the baby on the Nile, holding back manifesting or working to make money in order to go see the who frees me on the other side of the bridge. Reconciling past connections and his childhood to go visit his twin, bearing gifts, the little drummer boy. And then the drumming boy came up again, the black sheep of the family, the loner, the sheik. As clouds roll by and crocodile spies gliding along surface waters, a loyal friend nips at his heels, not giving him room to breathe. Only enough for 3 cups at present. He needs 6 cups to be fully present. The lion's butt is out being seen, sneaky or coming clean, after or about the high priestess, secret or psychic abilities, keeping to themselves with issues at work, third party or financial issues, or not seeing eye to eye, issues at work. The ice queen sneaking around with a pick in their skirt, thorn in his side, or hook of the sea, perhaps Captain Morgan. Free yourself. And beneath that was honeymoon for the masculine. So maybe having taken some time away, now is time for the masculine to be free. No olive branch extended in recovery, not expressing feelings or sharing their energy. The Page of Swords without the truth is lying, spying, or exposing physical reunion. Recovering from exile without a message or feelings and has gone silent. And then all of a sudden the sunshine comes out with cornucopia of love and fruitfulness in physical reunion. The slipper fits. After the lion, or lying, after the lion lying in discovery period, twisted the truth, the child or immature communication or mean words exposed, instead of the glass slipper, he brings a basket of fruit and sunshine perhaps. Or perhaps a trip, or tripped up with his words at 134 to 35, which is the Magician and the 34 of the 8 of Wands, 35 of the 9 of Wands, the Wounded Warrior. Abundance comes up, which is again the 88, the masculine and the feminine standing side by side in union, each balanced and dancing within their own masculine and feminine. Beneath abundance was self-discipline, so that's 41 of the Ace of Cups, to love yourself first and then go into your union of abundance. The Journey of the Devil inspired at 136 of the Magician and the 10 of Wands, the weight of the world upon your shoulders. The Journey of the Devil, or the dark shadow side of yourself, is in the Epiphanies, the sudden events, Krakow events, so Poland was coming up here, the Toron Arena, and Ventusky.com, which has to do with wind, rain, and temperature maps. Good news from the Knight of Cups, Capricorn, inspired suddenly. Epiphanies, or sudden explosion, eruption, or orgasm, or the house has been brought down. The moon, the nighttime, or the full moon eclipse around the world, death and transformation, rebirth at the rebirth of the divine feminine, the Cancer energy, the mother energy around the world in 88 days. And then a cluster of cards came up which added up to 52, which again is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is the stone that Excalibur is pulled from in order to make her a real live girl again, just like Pinocchio becomes a real live boy when he finally speaks his truth. Or the Death Wish, skiing at night when he can't see. Or twin DNA, la creme de la creme, new satellite system, electrocution, execution, or powerful combination of Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, plus Capricorn, or high seas, which regards Poseidon. And then High Mar was coming up. Pirates and pirating music around the world. When all the world's asleep, the questions run so deep for such a simple man. Taught to do or die, but never surrender. Or was it surrender, but don't give your heart away? Cheap trick. And the dead, black or white, or in living color. The foot stuck now, crack in the cash cow. The glass slipper lights up the night sky with a light dance, Vance, marshlands, and down in jungle land. So there's Bruce Springsteen coming up. Stone Mountain, laser show, Excalibur, Blue Ridge Mountains, quartz, monzonite, and the Blue Ridge Mountains are part of the Appalachian Mountains. The Grateful Dead to River Phoenix came up. And when I looked this up, because I didn't know why the Grateful Dead was coming up, I looked it up just to see what was going on. And of course the tour came up, and I'm like, oh, I'll just check to see if it's related to Atlanta, because Atlanta was coming up. So I opened the schedule. Number 1 on the list, Friday, April 3rd, 2020, Hell Stage at Masquerade, Dance with the Dead, and Magic Sword, which references Excalibur, which I just brought up. So this was, number 1 was Atlanta. Number 3 was Friday, April 10th, 2020 in Philadelphia at the Underground Arts. Okay, so underground referencing Hades. But it's all called Dance with the Dead and Magic Sword. And then number 8 was Monday at Club Prania in Wrocław, Poland. All right, so here's Poland coming up. And we started this read with Krakow. So Devil Dogs, a crab with lobster claws and red eyes running the show. The ship is flooded in the engine room. The inner workings of time clock or watch. Titanic and Titans, the end of time as we know it. Obladi, oblada, life goes on, bra. Lala, how their life goes on. Death, end, transition, transformation of the Page of Swords reversed in their lies, sneakiness, and spying and mean words, or no messages. The 6 of Cups, twins or kids, and I was just getting tin cup as well. Happy memories of third party at work or leaving the job, in masculine, freeing yourself. For physical reunion and abundance, the 88. Suffering in silence, stress, or just unfair or Libra reversed in uncomfortable energies, unable to walk away, or dealing with harsh energies. The end to bad communication or no physical communication through the workplace or place of co-creation, or not getting along at work or losing money. And this was at 212, which is the High Priestess and the Hanged Man. Recently is the 4 of Swords reversed, rising above, coming out of slumber at 212, after a death perhaps that you've experienced, or near-death experience, or dead tired, or clinging to find peace. Now getting over it, the Divine Masculine, frustration, or still uninspired. However, happy with self and holding their tongue. The foundation is the Hanging Man upright, hanging out after fighting for an opportunity or for a student or child to choose a new path. The central energy is the Starseed with a big bombshell drop for a fresh new start, the world complete, and the sealed Divine Feminine, deceived by 10 of Pentacles reversed, dysfunctional family or financial drain, or up at the crack of dawn. So here we have a reference to Krakow again. Up at the crack of dawn, or the triangle, the delta dawn, to receive an offer of love from the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Queen of Swords reversed, who are implementing a plan, or in other words, they're both reversed, you notice, they are strategizing. The Divine Masculine coming full circle apart from deception of family or business to receive love from negative strategizers. The Divine Masculine is hanging out, implementing new direction and a fresh start with the Empress. The challenge being the Knight of Swords reversed, holding their tongue or an announcement and or verbal abuse. Released from prison or anxiety to be happy with himself, holding back or no announcement of surrender, seeing synchronicities without lover, or about lack or lack of affection. So seeing synchronicities about the twins' lack of affection or lack of angel in his life, or that it's a message to him and in his synchronicities that he will lose his lover if he is too patient and still continuing to only take one step at a time. Synchronicities free him to be happy Being patient with Ten of Pentacles reversed, family or business reversed, who may be losing money. And the Knight of Cups offering love without judgment in order to receive an even bigger love, in surrender from getting over loss and regret, guilt and shame, in order to achieve that emotional fulfillment, in ending a family or emotional cycle. Overworking or not working at all because they're done aligning all their desires, but not sharing, in debt, scammed or inequitable relation or settlement, losing money, time, and energy at the workplace, or now leaving, or needing to balance things out with third party or interference, or negative influences around him. Now crowning is the Empress. There could be 2 to 3 sons here of the Empress, or 2 sons and a devil daughter or Capricorn. And the energy of the Knight of Wands reversed. The Queen of Wands hanging out in limbo because she's reversed as well. And the Empress released in order to run errands, exercise, or passionately run in, in a romantic way, finding peace, or with a peaceful friend now that the worst is over. The bliss after death. Or Capricorn is picking up kids or dropping them off to the Queen of Wands reversed at her mother's. He's dropping kids off or picking them up to hang out with the King of Cups and the King of Swords reversed. Taurus, Capricorn, Scorpio, Aries, and Pisces, Cancer, Sagittarius, and Aquarius all came up here. The Knight of Wands reversed, falling short, or maybe they're late and defenseless. There's no defense to their being late, holding back time, money, and energy, or he was just playing ball and he was late. The King of Pentacles reversed, or just being greedy with his time, money, or energy, or losing his status and money. And so he's got no time in a split lies and BS. High and by, no time for this. Slow down, downturn, the greasy wheel as far as love is concerned, between Libra reversed and the Queen of Swords reversed, post-war PTSD at home without burdens or confessing to love and grief, no longer keeping quiet for the King of Cups and his happy family. With the King of Cups over the loss and regret, and has poured water onto the flame. So the emotions have put the flame out, in essence, at 240, which is the High Priestess and the Page of Cups. So keeping that secret or psychic abilities, but of that Page of Cups, the message of love, the new love, the child love, the innocent, pure love. Soon is the Four of Cups, the grounding and integrating of love. After achieving a family or emotional cycle completion, the Hermit with light, an island unto himself, coming together with others he's not interested in, and now turning away. Groups that don't resonate with him, even if they're good in essence, if they don't make him feel good, why would he stay? Family frustrating, or frustrated and broken and depressed, pretending to be happy and perfect as a mask. He sees himself as the Seven of Wands, defenseless, and 17 came up here as the star, right? The star of the show. He is the Seven of Wands, though, here, reversed, defenseless to the drama of settling out, unequitable relations or distributions, but free at last. Separation or heartbreak of a child, or rejection, vulnerability, shyness, or spoiled and humbled, or finally free from spoiled adult or child, an unfair relationship. The Divine Masculine is defenseless but no longer cares what they think. Healing family issues, give your relationship a chance worth waiting for, and it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Around the Divine Masculine, or how he is seen, is the Nine of Swords, the suffering and silence, stress, purging, ending pain and betrayal, and divorce perhaps, breaking a contract, or exposing all to kids, or self free as a bird. The Empress and the Emperor standing side by side, Taurus times 2, as well as Aries and Leo. Taurus reversed or suffering or stressed, but the Empress and the Emperor and the Empress and the Emperor and kids all seem very happy and childlike. The masculine needs to clear blocks around the Two of Cups upright, grounding and integrating that offer of love still to the King of Wands, the man of passion. Rising above, coming out, the Queen of Cups reversed and the Knight of Wands reversed, possibly about what they did. The masculine needs to clear blocks about letting them back in no matter what they did, right? That letting people back in no matter what they did, that's not unconditional love, because then that's not loving yourself first, all right? So it's like the masculine's learning here that people can come back into their life if they're going to treat him with love and respect. But if they're doing underhanded things that he knows they come back time and time again and never change, then he should no longer be letting them back in unless they want to change. He keeps accepting back ones who keep doing the same stuff over and over to you, not respecting you or your wishes for a relationship perhaps. Synchronicities and completion come up here for the masculine, putting it out there for opportunities to feel each other's pain, or flirting with others to hurt each other, the game you play with your partner. Guidance reversed, the Empress alternative or divorced, or a break in her contract, and the Taurus reversed is just over it. After good news comes in, success and attention, and leading the way, the Taurus reversed or divorced person, and now over it, either not working, done overworking, but settling out in the downturn, or with issues at work or place of co-creation, could be a school or church, etc. Or the masculine's leaving the job, or the finalization of a divorce comes through, and that's good news. The Chariot's reversed, it's broken down, not working anymore, old style. The Sovereign no longer being quiet, recovering from exile, moving, ending marriage, or visiting with friends and family, holding on loosely, juggling, performing without much in messages or communication, trying to avoid negative talk altogether, whether it's negative self-talk or other. Learning to be happy and dance amongst Klingons and negative energies around him who lie or are going through splits or dividing, and their need to cut through any BS. Him not feeding into this energy in order to free himself from prison, anxiety, and fear. The natural tipping point just before dawn, the Delta Dawn at 3:05, which is the Empress and the Hierophant, both very Taurus energies. And that Delta Dawn before the sun comes up is those few hours, before nighttime and sunrise is like this reset point each day, right? Because when you go to bed with anxiety, you always wake up and you feel good again, right? It's a new, fresh start. It's a reset. In knowing of two minds, keeping to himself about aligning with his desires, streetcar, named desire, may be a block for him and not serving or not working. There may be a strike, refusing to move or work, disabled, or fell off his horse and had to put the horse down as to not beat a dead horse. Two Cups bond waiting for you to make the first move to her inner child. The Knight of Cups offers love. Prince Charming is coming around, and the glass slipper. Tend to your feet, ladies. We had at the end of this read the Two of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the Knight of Cups all together in a trinity position in that triangle, the Delta Dawn, at the top of this read. The 42, 46, and 39, and loving kids. The Page of Swords reversed, hanging out defenseless to drama, suffering, stress, and purging, rising above and or coming out with a fresh new start with one big download, challenged by holding their tongue, grounding and integrating still an offer of love, with the Two of Cups bond or soulmate, the Empress spiritual and or divorced, broken, stuck, a delay or canceled communication or a move or travel, and a split and release from deception or freed by Delta Dawn in order for him to now just be love. The Page of Swords reversed, immature communication, negativity, and rising above, coming out about death and or transformation, hanging out for a fresh new start as a bomb drops, to the Empress and challenged by holding their tongue. Defenseless to the energies, attacks, and drama, grounding and integrating that offer of love, an island unto himself, suffering in silence, stressed, purging, the Two of Cups bond, partners, soulmates, spiritual, alternative, outside the box, or divorced, breaking contract, establishment, or religion, or the Empress Taurus reversed, or with Taurus reversed, or one with their moon in Taurus here. The Chariot broken in a split and released from prison and deception, or released in the early morning hours of Delta Dawn, moving on to just be love, or in other words, the Knight of Cups. And that was at 3:19, which is the Empress and the Sun. And that can very much be the mother and son of the masculine and his mother. Okay, so I'm going to pull you some oracle cards and see what comes up of all of this and how we bring all this together. The family tree of Uranus and Saturn. Saturn's children are basically all the other planets, but most notable being Neptune and Jupiter, Zeus and Poseidon, and them each having their own children. Zeus had Hercules, but Poseidon had Atlas and Orion. And I think it was Hercules, and Athena was a daughter of Zeus as well. I think one of them had mostly daughters. I can't remember which one. And so the story was very much about the brothers of Jupiter and Neptune, or Poseidon and Zeus, and their underworld brother, Hades, who isn't talked about very much because he's the third energy. This is the animal deck, the animal tarot cards. And so today is January 13, again, the energy of death and transformation. For everybody watching and the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn from all this? And so we are calling in Poseidon and Zeus, as well as Orion and Atlas, to let us know the message they want us to understand about this read and the story that was given to me by Orion on behalf of Atlas. And we end on the Empress. We get the Empress, the Angora rabbit. It's time to hop into action. Use your natural creativity to bring forth prosperity and success in your life. Your natural creativity. And very interesting, this came in right after it, which is the Queen of Spring. Talented, brilliant, independent, and charming. And this is actually the back of the card, cat. Okay? The Persian cat. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. You may have several priorities vying for your attention at once, but you can do it. There's a couple little kitties down here, so just wanted to point that out. There's definitely some mothering here with the Empress. And so that's the Empress is the mother energy, and then of Cancer and the eclipse and all that kind of stuff. And the Swan wants to be seen too, the Queen of Summer, compassionate, loving, giving, and psychic. This is a time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. Be mindful you don't ignore your own needs while caring for others. Okay, so love yourself first, right? And we have eclipse energy, type energy here, or just a very slivery moon. But yeah, it's about loving yourself first, caring for, it's like loving yourself first, caring for others, like your children. And then the Angora rabbit. It's time to get into action, to use your natural creativity to bring forth prosperity and success. So we have a bunny, we have cats, and a swan. And we were talking about the lion and the lamb. And the bunnies definitely multiply. And the swan is great beauty. There's two queens. And you notice here, I was talking about the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. They both came up reversed twice together in this read today. So that was very significant. And here you have the two stepsisters and the stepmother, okay, of Cinderella. So there you go for that. The underlying energy of the deck is the Seven of Spring, which is the gecko. And that says, be assertive, believe in yourself. Don't let anyone take away your personal power. Trust that your inner guidance is true and follow it completely. That's the underlying energy. Okay, so again, these two are coming across as the mother and the two stepsisters. One has kids, and the other one is the beauty queen. Okay, and the Empress multiplies, or likes Angora sweaters. Okay. Then we have Metatron here, so let's see what else, what other information we have here. So I didn't get to say everything I wanted to say. For everybody watching, for the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Let's clear all negative energies across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities, and fill that empty space with only beautiful divine love and diamond crystalline light, and so it is. All right, so this is the Metatron deck. What is the message for everybody? Take a deep breath, everyone. What is the message from this read? Here we go. We got this already. Movement needed. So get up and move. Okay. Action, 9. So we have 9s of ending in selflessness and compassion, the collective consciousness and endings. So it's time to, you know, get yourself in shape, work out, take walks, but just get out there and breathe the fresh air. Okay. We also have, again, the red, safety, strength, and power. Has to do with the root and foundation issues. Make sure you have a very strong foundation before going forward with anything to make sure it's going to last a long time. And then we bring Atlas into the story, right? Because Atlas is enduring. Atlas is the distance runner, whereas Orion is the sprinter. Okay, and then we have the teepees here. There's a handprint on here as well. You see the handprint looks much like chokeres. Also like, who am I thinking of? Can't think of it. So we have the beach here also, and then the desert with the teepees. Very red. And then we have purity and innocence of the white and the diamond energy of the 51, which is the King of Swords. The purity of integrity of the white wing and the diamond. The diamond is not rough there. It's perfectly polished. I haven't gotten this one yet. And then gold, the cup of replenishment, which came up in the read about it being half full. It is gold. And we have the infinity here too, which is the 2-8 side by side becomes the infinity symbol on its side. And here's the cup full. The 16 is the tower. Rapunzel's tower. That the Knight of Cups is coming with that glass slipper to fill his cup. And one last card wants to come up. I'm going to look at these for a second. We have transformation, light and dark, which is 31, which is that five of wands energy of expansion, change. It can be conflict, but also could be playing in games, having fun. So get outside and be active. The beach, we have the desert represented here. The diamond now polished with their wings coming out. And my son actually expressed to me, literally, that he felt like, not too long ago, that he felt like wings were coming out of his back. And that's literally this card, okay? And then we have the Holy Grail. So it's like, here's the feminine working out, and then here's the masculine, right? Building a strong foundation, becoming polished and getting his wings in order to come forward to the Holy Grail in transformation of light and dark. Right? Because we are each other's shadow side since we're one etheric body. catching the light. The bottom of the deck is Hear and Know Me, the inner child. 36, which is that 10 of Wands again, the weight of the world upon your shoulders. Atlas, the shy one. So know your inner child, the shy one, right? Allow them to come out of their shyness to be seen. And as soon as it says that, hear me and know me, I was getting the Tommy, can you hear me again? See me, feel me, touch me, heal me. Okay, so heal your inner child. And then, let's see, from the Kipper deck, let's see what the Kipper deck has to tell us. Okay, we have change and the coffin. So that's today's the 13, so this is of endings. We also have 9 and 19, which is the Hermit and the Sun. Okay, the Hermit needs to get light, right? Because he's inside all the time. He needs to get a little bit of nutrition from the sun. And there are big changes coming here. And the case is closed here with the coffin shut. So someone may be wrapping up. It doesn't have to be a death of a person, but it can be something that's already happened that you're wrapping up all the details with. But it also has to do with death of anything. Death of a relationship or a job or a house or a move or a car. Anything like that coming up. But it's of high honor. There's a 3 or 6 gun salute there. Okay. But beware the underlying energies, the false person, because the mask needs to come off. And we have the 8 here of the strength of the lion. The lion with the thorn in his paw. The shepherd or the lamb takes that thorn out of the lion's paw, which is referencing to the sword and the stone. The Excalibur is the thorn in his paw, and the lion is the Sophia, the divine feminine. So she has learned how to manifest on the land, while the masculine had to go into the ocean of Poseidon, right? And come out as the shepherd, right? The lamb, the sheep, the one who was shy, comes out from beneath his father's shadow, that was Poseidon in the deep ocean waters, after having learned deep emotions, now coming back out to the land to stake his own place in the world. And that shepherd coming to take the thorn or the sword out of the divine feminine lion, the Sophia. Okay, and this is what's coming in under the false person is poverty, and then the community. You see how the little boy was taken in by this community, but we're required to wear a false mask, and that's the underlying energy. Okay, let's see what else we have here. So this is the energy deck. Sorry, it was a long one. I know I was a bit long-winded about the story in the beginning, but I get so excited how I get guided to all the different details and how the story comes together. All right. So from the energy deck, what do we need to know? Any other messages that need to come through? That came right out. Hostilities. 26 is that Page of Wands. And in the SIRIAN Starseed deck, the Page of Wands is the masked boy. There's hostilities coming out because there's frustration because they're masked, they're not showing their authentic self. So we talked about the frustrations of Orion and the anger that comes of that because he's got too many choices. He is the fighter as opposed to the lover because he's polarized right into what the masculine's supposed to have been in the 3D. And then we have 15 of the devil energies and appreciation. Under the devil energies, this is coming up as false appreciation, right? Someone kissing your butt in order to get what they want. You see, she's dressed very perfectly, isn't she? So he's angry because they're both wearing masks. She's showing a false mask of appreciation in this relationship. This is this inequitable relationship. She's showing false appreciation, so he'll just do whatever she says. And he's now feeling trapped in this world that he's built for himself because he can no longer be who he truly is. Okay? The underlying energy is the temple path, the 12 of the hanged man. The underlying energies of to be in that noble place of your true authenticity, to light up that temple path. And behind the temple we have the 6th chakra of Archangel Metatron. So there we go. Because Metatron was a big deal in this read today, and he's 40 in this deck, which is the Page of Cups. That Metatron, just because he's the big guy, Metatron, right, the heavyweight, doesn't mean he's not the softy inside, right? That he's the one who learned to control his temper. He's spent a lot of time in the ocean, learning about feelings and emotions. So focus on your third eye. And I'm keep getting wings with the masculines. And masculines are definitely focusing on getting wings right now, if they're not feeling that literally. Oh, it's interesting. Look at the transformation. The card behind 6th chakra Metatron is the Magician in the mirror. So look at how he's positioned. He's got his arms out trying to make magic. And then look, voila. And I had written in my story, by golly, I've got it. And then the wings come out. He transforms, okay, to the temple path. All right, I think I have one more deck. Yep. So this is the Nature's Whispers. Let's see if we have something through here. Nature's Whispers. Okay, Orion, do you have anything you want to tell me? Since this was your message to me today, Orion. Orion. Take a deep breath, you guys. January 13, 2020, Orion. Orion. Okay, I keep getting a clump of cards, so I guess I gotta take it. The underlying energy is illumination of all the colors of the feminine. It's very pastel. The High Priestess is the 2. And again, this references the eclipse of the moon in Cancer. Here's 42, let love be your beacon. And again, I told you this is like the dead fish. You know, why do you want to hang the dead fish or the cross around your neck, right? When you have all this beauty to see. The second card came out as 36, which is again that 10 of Wands, the weight of the world upon your shoulders, the Atlas energy. This is very interesting too, because the code line today was 42-6. 4 plus 2 equals 6. The Emperor, the High Priestess, and the Lovers. And here's that the energy of Atlas and the weight of the world upon your shoulders. So it's like, you know, Emperor is Orion, and then the 2 is the High Priestess of Atlas, the more feminine one, and the weight of the world upon his shoulders. Because he's not supposed to be feminine, he was supposed to be masculine. And then the Tower comes in with the inner truths, right? That he's not letting others see, the authenticity that needs to come out, that he's been hiding. The 16 of the Tower, that he's ready to explode and erupt into the being he truly wants to be. And then 26, be true to your heart. How perfect is that for authenticity? The Page of Wands, which in this deck, the SIRIAN Starseed deck, is the masked boy, because he needs to take the mask off and be true to his own heart as the Page of Wands and be inspired. And there are 4 very different energies all together, all 4 pictures. You see the colors all together. They're very different. getting all, it's like coming from being showy, right, with the mask on, right, wearing a cross, which is represented as the dead fish here, right, to show everyone that you are of God and wearing a cross. And it doesn't matter what religion you are, it's just representation of that. We all wear different religious symbols, and showing off of the peacock, right? But you notice that in showing off, this contains all the colors, not her. She's all one color of reds and oranges, right, which is the lower chakras. She's not showing, when she's showing off here with the peacock, but she's not. She's showing off what's on her. She's in her lower energies, in her sacral and root chakra, because she's being in third and 3D energy. Here, look at the beautiful colors that come out, right? And carrying the weight of the world upon your shoulders, and using your intuition, and being strong inside, not taking out anger and frustrations and being mean to others, but also needing to love yourself first when you have 36, because you're still carrying too much weight. So it's finding out who you are, and then realizing, I can't contain this anymore. How can I hide this secret of me? I must come out for all to see. Okay? And this becomes very masculine again. It's still very masculine, but there's a lot of pastel colors that come out within all these little masculine parts. And maybe there's just still some more feminine that needs to come out in the masculine to show his true, fully authentic self. So very interesting. Okay, I hope that was helpful for you guys. I don't want to keep you much longer. We're getting pretty long here. I'm going to show you the cards. Here's the underlying energy of the Seeker of Orbs, or the Page of Swords. Recent past is the Four of Orbs. Then we have the Foundation here is the Hanging Man. The central energy is the Starseed. The Adept of Orbs, or the Knight of Swords, is the Challenge. The underlying energies up there, they were all upright. And then the crowning energies is the Empress upright. And then we scroll across here to the Four of Cups, or Four of Chalices. The masculine sees himself as the Seven of Flames, or Wands, reversed. Around him, or how he's seen as the Nine of Orbs. And notice that the Emperor and the Empress are sitting there right next to each other. And where are they? The king, the queens there are actually reversed energy, but they're side by side, the Swords and the Pentacles Queen. And I think they came up together in here too. Oh yeah, here in the other cards here is the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles, both reversed side by side. So they came up twice. And then, so we have that energy is the Nine of Orbs around the masculine. The blocks he needs to clear has to do with the Two of Cups, which was upright today. You see the third eye energies of the colors in the numerology cards here, and we end on the guidance card, or the Hierophant, but it is reversed. We had the Chariot reversed above that, and then the Ace of Swords reversed as well. The Eight of Swords reversed, which is good because that's the release from the prison, and then it tops it off with the Moon energy still here, but that's also reversed, having to do with the early morning hours, but it can also be deception. It can still reference the eclipse energies as well. And then we end up, you see how beautiful those last cards are with the Two of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the Knight of Cups on top. Okay? All right, so those are those root energies, right? Don't staying in those energies. And here's the third eye energy that's actually out, the new energy. All right, so make sure you drink your water. Don't forget, when you don't drink enough water, it's not just about, nagging you every day. You don't feel good when you're not hydrated well. And you don't function well as a spiritual communicator either. So make sure you drink enough water every day. Keep enough water in a couple big bottles so that you know if you've gotten through this bottle that you've had the water that you need for the day. Make sure you get enough rest, get your joy, your fun, and your nature, and rise and be love. Bye, guys.